Jai Saparika Shri Guru Gaurachandra Ju Ki Jai. Jai Shri Giriraj Govardhan Ju Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhansa Parivrajaka Astatara Sita Shri Śrīman Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhansa Parivrajaka Astatara Sita Shri Śrīman Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Welcome to Śrī Chaitanya-charitāmṛta Mission Morning Class. Very busy in the temple right now because it is Adivas for Sri Janmashtami tomorrow. Is this working? It's not working, Haridev. The microphone. Yeah. Damodar Prabhu? Damodar Prabhu? Is it working? No. Let's go in the kitchen now. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Chita Parakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitangstam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parichana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitangscha Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Nama. Haridev Prabhu, can you tell them to be quiet? Could we have quiet in the kitchen, please? Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Svapadantikam. Haribo. Haridev. I'm very distracted by that. So I'm going to start again. Please excuse me. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Chita Parakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitangstam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parichana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitangscha Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam. Haribo. Haribo. Śrī Chaitanya-charitāmṛta. This is now chapter 14 of the Antya-līlā, the Lord's feelings of separation. Haribo. Tomorrow is the appearance day of Lord Krishna. And how wonderful is Krishna, that even Krishna, in the mood of Radharāṇī, is looking for himself. This is a very, very, very fine and high ontological point. The absolute truth is for itself and by itself. Guru Maharaj quotes this, I think from Bishop Barclay. But this is like a wondrous truth. Where there is disharmony, it is due to ego. Nothing more than that. disharmony meaning not doing what we are doing for the center. So there may be disharmony, meaning the battlefield of Kurukshetra. You could say that's disharmony. But there's no disharmony, because it is all for the sake of the Lord. So this is, if we want to come to Krishna consciousness, we have to understand these points. That reality is for Krishna, and Krishna is the absolute reality. What else will reality be for? Something other than reality? So here we are. Jai, the Lord's feelings of separation, how attractive is reality. When we are not in touch with that, we don't realize what this wonder of separation can be. It is the natural it is the natural progressive immortality of truth, of real life. It is always pulling us deeper and deeper, and it's infinite. The Lord is infinitely charming and wonderful, and there's no end to the feeling of separation from Him. Because the heart is always hankering to come to a deeper plane of service. So this is an astonishing, wonderful thing. So the Lord's feeling of separation. Jai Jai Śrī Chaitanya, Jai Nityananda, Jai Advaita Chandra, Jai Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Jai Śrī Chaitanya, Jai Nityananda, Jai Nityananda, Jai Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Haribol. Text 21 of chapter 14. Jai Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Ki Jai. Srila Om Vishnupad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Prabhura Vilamba Deki Govinda Jagaila. Jagale Swapna Jnana Haila Prabhu Dukha Haila. When Govinda saw that the Lord had not yet risen, he awakened him. Understanding that he had only been dreaming, the Lord was somewhat unhappy. Dehabhyase nitya. Oh. I don't know you all. What time did you come?
Around 5 in the morning.
Oh, okay. I was expecting you sometime today, but I didn't realize it was going to be that early. Oh, so nice to see you today. Harivam. Dehabhyase nitya kritya kari samapana kale jai kaila Jagannatha darashana. Śrī Chaitanya Mahaprabhu performed his customary daily duties, and at the usual time he went to see Lord Jagannath in the temple. Javat kala darshana karena Gurudera pache Prabhura age darshana kare loka lake lake. As he viewed Lord Jagannath from behind the Garuda column, hundreds and thousands of people in front of him were seeing the deity. Hundreds of thousands of people were. Mahaprabhu was standing at the Garuda Stamba, which is like a pillar with Garuda sitting on the top. And he's there, but there's so many people between him and Lord Jagannath. None of us has ever been in the Jagannath temple. So, and we probably will not in this lifetime unless there's unless Lord Jagannath changes his mind and lets us come in as he likes. This is all his wonderful play. But it's hard to imagine how many people can be inside of this. I mean, we've seen it from the outside. It is very impressive. Udiya akastri bide darshanana panya garude chadide ke prabhura skande padadiya. Suddenly a woman from Orissa, unable to see Lord Jagannath because of the crowd, climbed on the column of Garuda, placing her foot on Śrī Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's shoulder. Dekiya Govinda aste vyaste stikeva jila. Tare namaite Prabhu Govinde nishedila. When he saw this, Śrī Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's personal servant Govinda hastily got her down from her position. Śrī Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, however, chastised him for this. Purport: because Garuda is the carrier of Lord Vishnu, he is the Supreme Vaiṣṇava. Therefore, to touch his body with one's feet or to climb the column of Garuda is certainly Vaishnava aparad, an offense to a Vaishnava. The woman was also offensive to Krishna by putting her foot on the shoulder of Śrī Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Seeing all these offenses, Govinda very hastily made her get down. So Srila Prabhupada is giving this purport in order to instruct us. But actually, Srila Mahaprabhu was very pleased with her. Because of her own quality of heart. Adivasya eshtire nakara parjana karukayatesha Jagannath tarashana. Śrī Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said to Govinda, O Adivasi, he's saying, uncivilized man, do not forbid this woman to climb the Garuda Stamba. Let her see Lord Jagannath to her satisfaction. So he's chastising Govinda by calling him a jungle man. Uncivilized jungle. What are you doing? Don't stop her. For another explanation of the word Adivasi, refer to the Antya-līlā. Okay. Chapter 10. Aste vyaste se nari bhumite namila Mahaprabhure deki tara charana vandila. When the woman came to her senses, however, she quickly climbed back down to the ground. And seeing Śrī Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, immediately begged at his lotus feet for forgiveness. This was her natural feeling of her heart. Tara arti deki prabhu kahite lagila. Eta arti Jagannatha more nahitila. Seeing the woman's eagerness, Śrī Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Lord Jagannath has not bestowed so much eagerness upon me. The woman was so eager to see Lord Jagannath that she forgot she was offending the feet of a Vaishnava by climbing the column of Garuda. She also neglected to consider that by putting her foot on the shoulder of Śrī Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, she offended the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we're not going to do these things thinking, well, I just wanted to just see Lord Jagannath, This is, we have to understand the quality of a person's heart. That can harmonize everything. And then when she just forgot herself in her eagerness to see the beautiful form of Lord Jagannath. She didn't even know what she was doing. But as soon as she realized what she was doing, what have I done? These are both grievous offenses that displease the Supreme Lord and the Vaishnavas. But she was so eager to see Lord Jagannath that she committed all these offenses obliviously, meaning she did not know she was doing that. Śrī Chaitanya Mahaprabhu praised her eagerness. He regretted that Lord Jagannath had not bestowed such great eagerness upon him. Jagannate avishta iharat tanumana prane moraskande pada diache taho nahi jane. She has fully absorbed her body, mind, and life in Lord Jagannath. Therefore, she was unaware that she was putting her foot on my shoulder. So not to disturb her. But on this point, sometimes the devotees, we who are young devotees, sometimes wanted to rush in, force themselves into the temple of Jagannath. It is not Jagannath's will. So we're happy with that. Whatever Lord Jagannath wants, that is fine, more than happy for us. So this is not an understanding about things. And we don't imitate those who have that kind of spontaneous love, that they can cross so many things unknowingly for their seva. Aho bhagyavati e vandi ihara paya, ihara prasade aiche arti amara vahaya. Alas, how fortunate this woman is. I pray at her feet that she favor me with her great eagerness to see Lord Jagannath. Purve ashi jabe kaila Jagannath darshana, Jagannate deke sakshat Rajendra Nandana. Just previously, Śrī Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had been seeing Lord Jagannath as Krishna, the son of Maharaj Nanda in person. And this is another quality of the Vaishnava, and we see this, of course, in the Brihad Bhagavatamrita. But in the case of Mahaprabhu, this is supreme humility. He has so much eagerness to see Lord Jagannath that he thinks he has no eagerness. He's thinking, oh, if only I had that quality. This is, again, this nature of so much desire, lolium, to see the Lord, that he feels that he has none. And that creates vipralamba. Swapnera darshana veshe tadrupa hailamana, jaha taha deki sarvatra murali vadana. Becoming fully absorbed in that vision, Śrī Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had assumed the mood of the gopis, so much so that everywhere he looked, he saw Krishna standing with his flute to his lips. Ebe jadi Shri Re Deki Prabhu Rabahya Haila, Jagannatha Subhadrā-jī Swarupa Dekila. So Mahaprabhu is completely absorbed in seeing Lord Jagannath as Krishna with the flute to his lips. And everywhere he looked, he saw this. But after seeing the woman, the Lord's external consciousness returned, and he saw the original deity forms of Lord Jagannath, Subhadra, and Lord Balaram. Kurukshetre deki Krishna aiche haila mana, kaha Kurukshetre ailana, kaha Vṛndāvana. When he saw the deities, Lord Chaitanya thought he was seeing Krishna in Kurukshetra. He wondered, have I come to Kurukshetra? Where is Vṛndāvan? So we remember that Lord Jagannath's, that Mahaprabhu is coming to Lord Jagannath, that relationship is like that relationship, or is actually, that relationship of Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī when she sees Krishna in Kurukshetra. And the Ratha Yatra festival is Krishna returning in the heart of Radharani to Vṛndāvan. So these are very, very, sort of inconceivably high things. But when the inhabitants of Vṛndāvan saw Krishna in Kurukshetra, they're seeing Dwarka Krishna. He's Krishna, but the mood is a little different, and Vṛndāvan is not there. That whole conscious, wondrous substance that is giving all service to the pastimes. That is not there. So that extreme situation is there. That Krishna is almost there, but Vṛndāvan is not there. So that Ratha Yatra festival is Lord Jagannath, Krishna returning to Vṛndāvan, which is represented by Gundicha temple. So now Mahaprabhu has only seen Krishna. Suddenly, something brought that attention to another plane, and he saw Lady Subhadra and Baladev there, And now the feeling is Kurukshetra. So these are places of consciousness. Guru Maharaj is always emphasizing this. This is not like, these are not, of course we can go to these holy places because they so mercifully manifested themselves before our senses. But really internally these are places of consciousness. They are changing. Mahaprabhu is in Vrindavan, then suddenly he's in Kurukshetra. And this is not even a mystical thing. These are far beyond mysticism. This is the absolute reality. When he saw the deities, Lord Chaitanya thought he was seeing Krishna in Kurukshetra. He wondered, have I come to Kurukshetra? Where is Vrindavan? Prapta ratna haranya aiche vyagrahayila Bishanahanya Prabhu Nichavasa Aila. Lord Chaitanya grew very much agitated, like a person who has just lost a recently acquired jewel. Then he became very morose and returned home. Bhumira uparabasini janake bhumilike ashuganga netre vahe kichvina deke. Śrī Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sat down on the ground and began to mark it with his fingernails. He was blinded by tears which flowed from his eyes like the Ganges. Pailum Vrindavanata Punaharailum Ke Mora Nileka Krishna Kahamuyainu. Śrī Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I found Krishna, the Lord of Vrindavan, but I have lost him again. Who has taken my Krishna? Where have I come? So Srila Prabhupada is giving the purport. These are the feelings of Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī. First, Lord Chaitanya felt that he had been taken to Vrindavan, where he saw Krishna's rasa dance with the gopis. So that was in a so-called dream state. But that is not a dream like our kind of dream, of course. This is absolute reality. Then he was brought to Kurukshetra to see Lord Jagannath, his sister Subhadra, and Lord Balaram. Śrī Chaitanya Mahaprabhu lost Vrindavan and Krishna, the master of Vrindavan. At this time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu experienced divyomada, transcendental madness and separation from Krishna. At Kurukshetra, Krishna displays his opulence, where in Vrindavan he is in his original position. This is who Krishna is at home. Krishna never goes even a step away from Vrindavan. Therefore, Kurukshetra is less important for the gopis than Vrindavan. Although devotees who worship Krishna in opulence, his Vaikuntha aspect, may prefer to see Lord Krishna at Kurukshetra, along with Subhadra and Balaram, the gopis want to see Krishna in Vrindavan, performing the rasa dance with Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī. Śrī Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed by practical example how one can cultivate the mood of Radharani and the other gopis in separation from Krishna. Devotees absorbed in this mood do not like to see Krishna anywhere else but Vrindavan. Therefore, Śrī Chaitanya Mahaprabhu lamented, I found Krishna in Vrindavan, and now I have again lost him and come to Kurukshetra. Unless one is very highly advanced devotee, he cannot understand these intricate feelings. The author of Śrī Chaitanya-charitāmṛta, however, has tried to explain this divyomad as far as possible, and it is our duty simply to appreciate it as far as possible. So we are in the mood of duty, seva. We are trying to understand these things very soberly. Therefore, the author has made the following request in verse 11. Tate vishvashakari shuna bhavera varnana haibe bhavera jnana paiba premadana. My dear readers, simply try to hear this description with faith and love. That will help you to understand transcendental ecstasy, and at last you will achieve love of Godhead very easily. Swapna veshe prema prabhura gara gara mana bahya haile haya yena karaila dana. When Śrī Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dreamed of the rasa dance, he was fully absorbed in transcendental bliss. But when his dream broke, he thought that he had lost a precious jewel. Unmat, and we remember when we were been hearing this before, that when the Braja Gopis were searching for Krishna, Krishna disguised himself as Lord Narayan. But when they saw Lord Narayan, they simply offered obeisances and asked if he had seen Krishna anywhere. So, although Mahaprabhu was still seeing Krishna, he was seeing Dwarka Krishna suddenly in the atmosphere of Kurukshetra. So he's not interested so much, and he went home. Oh, but he's also seeing Lord Jagannath as Vṛndāvan Krishna. So Śrī Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would chant and dance, always absorbed in the bliss of transcendental madness. He carried out the necessities of the body, such as eating and bathing, merely out of habit. Ratre haile swarupa ramanande lanya apana manera bhava kahe ugadiya. At night, Lord Chaitanya would reveal to Swarup Damodar and Ramananda Rai the ecstatic feelings of his mind. Prapta pranas chajutavit Prapta pranas chajutavita atma Vayo vishado jita deha geha grihita kapalika dharma kome Vṛndāvanam sendriya shishya vrinda. Śrī Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, at first my mind somehow achieved the treasure of Krishna, but it again lost him. Therefore it gave up my body and home because of lamentation, and accepted the religious principles of a Kapālika Yogi. Then my mind went to Vrindavan with its disciples, my senses. This is an astonishing verse. Śrī Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, at first my mind somehow achieved the treasure of Krishna, but it again lost him. Therefore it gave up my body and home because of lamentation, and accepted the religious principles of a Kapālika Yogi. He's just left. My mind just left my body, and like a severe renunciant, just out of lamentation, just left home. Then my mind went to Vrindavan with its disciples, my senses. So this is a beautiful metaphor. Really, I mean, we probably have no idea how beautiful, but even to us, it is so lovely. Prapta Ratna Haranya, Prapta Ratna Haranya, Taraguna Saraya, Mahaprabhu Santape Vivala, Raya Swarupera Kantadari, Kahe Ha Hari Hari, Darya Gela Haila Chapala. Having lost his acquired gem, Śrī Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became overwhelmed with lamentation by remembering its attributes. Then grasping the necks of Ramananda Rai and Swarup Damodar Goswami, meaning like this, he cried, alas, where is my Lord Hari? Where is Hari? Finally became restless and lost all patience. Sorry, I'm putting inflection in my voice. It's just a habit. I'm not trying to actually represent the voice of Mahaprabhu. It's just a habit in my reading, so excuse me for that. I'm not trying to say how this sounded. It's just what, yeah. Shuna bandava Krishnera madhuri Yara lobe mora mana chari loka veda dhamma yogi hanya haila bikari. My dear friends, he said, please hear of Krishna's sweetness. Because of a great desire for that sweetness, my mind has given up all social and Vedic religious principles and taken to the profession of begging, exactly like a mystic yogi. He's leaving the Vedic principles just exactly like a yogi leaves home. It's like, I'm going begging. There's nothing else to be had except this sweetness. So, anyway, we're getting a little overtime here, but we'll read a little more. Krishna Lila Mandala Shuddha Shankha Kundala Gadiyache Shugaka Karikara Sekundala Kane Pari Trishtalao Talidari Asha Juli Kandera Upara. The ring of Krishna's Rasa Lila, the ring meaning because it's in a circle, manufactured by Shukadeva Goswami, the most auspicious craftsman, is as pure as an earring made from a conch shell. The yogi of my mind is wearing that earring upon its ear. So this is an emblem of this type of yogi. They wear a conch shell earring. From a gourd he has carved out the bowl of my aspirations, the begging bowl, and he has taken the bag of my expectations on his shoulder. So Mahaprabhu is further developing this metaphor. The yogi of my mind is left home, left all religious principles, and the ring of the rasa dance has become like a conch shell earring which I'm wearing on my ear, and carving out the gourd of the begging bowl of my aspirations. This is what I'm begging for this. He is taking the bags of my expectations on his shoulder. So there may be a bag, the yogi is carrying some few things with him, but these things that I'm carrying are only my aspirations for the service of Krishna. Chintakanti udigai, duli vibhuti malina kai, haha Krishna pralapa uttara. Udvegadvada shahate lobera julani mate bhikshabhave kshina kalevara. The yogi of my mind wears the torn quilt of anxiety on his dirty body, which is covered with dust and ashes. His only words are, alas, Krishna. He wears 12 bangles of distress on his wrist and a turban of greed, lolium, on his head. Because he has not eaten anything, he is very thin. The yogi of my mind wears the torn quilt. So a yogi will carry some kind of blanket, a beggar going around. He has some old thing. The torn quilt of anxiety on his dirty body. Why dirty? Completely neglected, which is covered with dust and ashes. These are these feelings. His only words are, alas, Krishna. He wears 12 bangles of distress on his wrist and a turban of greed on his head because he has not eaten anything. He is very thin. He's not eating anything of this world. So he's become thin. And he's... Haribol. I can't stop reading this analogy. Vyasan Sukari Yogi Gana Krishna Atma Niranjana Prajetara Antya-līlā Gan Bhagavatari Shastragane Kariyache Varnane Setaja Padayanukshan. The great yogi of my mind always studies the poetry and discussions of Lord Krishna's Vrindavan pastimes. In the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam and other scriptures, great saintly yogis like Vyasadeva and Shukadeva Goswami have described Lord Krishna as the super soul, beyond all material contamination. How will we come out of material contamination without meditating on Krishna? Where are we going to go? Dashendriye Shishyakari Mahabhaula Namadari Shishya Lanya Karila Gamana Moradeha Swastadana Vishaya Bhoga Mahadhana Shabachadi Gela Vrindavana. The mystic yogi of my mind has assumed the name Mahabhaula and made disciples of my 10 senses. Thus my mind has gone to Vrindavan, leaving aside the home of my body and the great treasure of material enjoyment. That thing which is such a great treasure to all the conditioned soul. I've left that great treasure behind. Śrī Chaitanya Mahaprabhu compares his mind to one of the mystic yogis known as Baulas, who make at least 10 disciples. So there are 10 senses, and he's made those senses his disciples. They're following him to Vrindavan. Of course, the senses are subtle. The body is not necessary. These are just the gross senses. The eyes, they're just the mechanics of the senses.
Instrument.
Yes. Vrindavane prajagana jata stavara jangama vrikshalata grihasta ashrame taragare bhikshatana palamula pratashana evritikare shishyashane. In Vrindavan, he goes from door to door begging alms with all of his disciples. He begs from both the moving and the inert inhabitants, the citizens, the trees, and the creepers. In this way he lives on fruits, roots, and leaves. And they're giving him. They're giving him his bhiksha. What he's begging for, they're giving that. And that's the only thing he's living on. Krishna guna rupa rasa gandha shabha parasa parasa sheshuddha asvade gopi gana tasabara grasha sheshe ani panchendriya shishye shipikshaya rakena jivan. The gopis of Brajabhumi always taste the nectar of Krishna's attributes, his beauty, his sweetness, his aroma, the sound of his flute, and the touch of his body. My mind's 5 disciples, the senses of perception, gather the remnants of that nectar from the gopis and bring them to the yogi of my mind. Just like a disciple will go begging and bring everything to Guru Dev. The senses maintain their lives by eating those remnants. Shunya kunja manda pakone yoga vyasa krishna dhyane raha rahe lanya shishyagana krishna atma niranjana shaksha dekitayamana dhyane ratri khare jagarana. There is a solitary garden where Krishna enjoys his pastimes, and in one corner of a pavilion in that garden, the yogi of my mind, along with his disciples, practices mystic yoga. What kind of mystic yoga is that? Wanting to see Krishna directly, this yogi remains awake through the night, meditating on Krishna, who is the super soul, uncontaminated by the modes of nature. That's so charming. Krishna is so Krishna in Vrindavan is so much. It is sometimes very charming. He's saying that Krishna is the super soul beyond material contamination. But this is Krishna of Vrindavan, anyway, I don't know how to talk about that. Mana Krishna Viyogi Dukhe Manahila Yogi Se Viyogi Dasha Dasha Hai Se Dasaya Vyakula Hanya Managela Palanya Shunyamora Sharira Alai. When my mind lost the association of Krishna and could no longer see him, he became depressed and took up mystic yoga. In the void of separation from Krishna, he experienced 10 transcendental transformations. Agitated by these transformations, my mind fled, leaving my body, his place of residence, empty. Thus I am completely in trance. No connection even with the body at all. In this verse, the outward activities of the Kapālika mendicants have been described, but not their actual life. The Kapālika mendicants are tantric materialists who carry skulls in their hands. They are not Vaishnavas and have nothing to do with spiritual life. But Mahaprabhu is saying, my mind has become a Kapālika yogi. Only an outward comparison has been made between the minds. Srila Prabhupada is very carefully saying, okay, now, you are not going to become Kapālika yogis or even associate with them. He's giving us, Only an outward comparison has been made between the mind and their activities, but their behavior should never be imitated. We're so young, we go to India and, Kapālika yogi. We don't understand anything. Krishnera viyogi gopira dasha dasha hoy, se dasha dasha hoy prabhura udai. When the gopis felt separation from Krishna, they experienced 10 kinds of bodily transformations. These same symptoms appeared in the body of Śrī Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we can stop and we'll repeat this verse tomorrow. So this is very merciful. The Lord is so merciful that we get to read these verses as part of our Adivas celebration. What is the condition of such a person who has absorbed themselves in Krishna's separation? Anyway, I won't expand on any of that. It's beyond me, but we get to hear this today somehow or other by some miracle. Jai Śrī Chaitanya-charitāmṛta ki jai, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj ki jai, Srila Om Vishnupad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Jai. Shri Guru Gaurachandra Giraju ki jai. So, Jai Shri Shri Upadeshamrita ki jai. Srila Rupa Goswami ki jai. So we'll just go ahead and recite these verses, and we are come now to these beautiful purports of Srila Guru Maharaj on the verse number 10, I think. 9. Vaikuntha Janito Vara Madhu Puri Tatrapi Rasotsavat. Okay, so let's go ahead. And how much we have? We had several of these. Do we not? Do we not have any more?
Yeah, we have some.
Oh, okay. So we'll just recite these up to number 9, and then if we have a little time, we can read. Vacho Vegam Manasakro. Did I say Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhu ki jai?
No.
Jai Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhu ki jai. Jai Shri Rupa Nuga Guru Varga ki jai. Vacho vegam manasakroda vegam jiva vegam udarupasta vegam etan vegadyo vishahetadira sarvam apimam pritibim sasisyat. These verses are deep. They will go deeper and deeper in our practice. We are praying for that. Atyahara prayasascha prajalpo niyamagra janasangas chalolyam cha sadbir bhaktir vinashyati. And then the original lolyam was like a turban on the head of the yogi of the mind of Mahaprabhu. Utsahanishchaya dharya tat karma pravartana sangatyagat sato vrite sadbir bhakti prasiddhyati. What is nourishing to devotion? Dadati pratigrahnati guhyamakyati prichati bhunkte bojayate chaiva sadvidim priti lakshanam. Exchanges of love between the devotees. Krishneti yasya giritang manasa jayeta dikshasi chet pranati bishcha pajantamisham shushushaya bhajana vigyam mananyamanya nindadi shunya hridamipshita shangalabdya. Our relation with different persons who are chanting the holy name. Drishtai shabhava janite vapushascha dosher na prakritatvam ihan gangambasam na kulavud buddha prema. Pena pankar brahmadravatvam apagachati niradharma. Not to see the external qualities of the great Vaishnavas, just like we don't care about the bubbles and foam on the Ganges. Shya Krishna nama charitadi satapitya pito patapta rasanasya narochikanu kinvadaran anudinam kalu shaiva justa swadvikramad bhavati tad gadamulahantri. The sweetness of Krishna's name will cure us of the jaundice of ignorance, which keeps us from tasting the sweetness of Krishna's name. So amazing. By chanting, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says in his commentary in the Shikshastakam, by chanting the name of Krishna, you will become qualified to chant the name of Krishna. Tannama rupa charitari sukirtananu smricho kramena rasana manasi niyojya tishtan vrajetad anuragi jaganugami kalam nayeda kilam ityupadesha sharam. The essence of all instructions. And now number 9. Vaikuntaj janito varamadupuri tatrapi rasotsavad Vrindaranyam udarapani ramanat tatrapi govardhana Radha kundamihapi gokulapate premamrita plavanat Kuryamasya virajato giritate sevang vivekina kaha. Number 9. And we are now on page 234. And we started the class about 5 minutes late, I think. So we have a good 10 minutes of reading here. So I'm going to go to this paragraph, which we read already, but only in Vrindavan. So on page 234, write the first full paragraph. Only in Vrindavan do we find full-fledged service to Krishna. Jai Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Only in Vrindavan do we find full-fledged service to Krishna. That means not in Vaikuntha, not in Dwarka, not in Mathura, but only in Vrindavan. And that is service in Parakīya-rasa. Parakīya means the sense that something is not in my possession, that it does not belong to me. We may have general hunger, but if we take a little medicine, then that hunger can be increased and we can eat more and more. Similarly, the arrangement of Parakīya-rasa makes everything more and more intensified. That feeling of he is not mine. There's something blocking. There's some separation. I belong to somebody else. That is not a real feeling, but that is the climate of Parakīya. Yashoda is always thinking, they're saying he's not my son, that he's Devaki's son. What is that? They say he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What nonsense. He's my son. What are they talking about? They're just envious of me that I have such a good son. Or the gopis always being prevented from going. Similarly, the arrangement of Parakīya-rasa makes everything more and more intensified. Even the most ordinary things become enhanced. Even the most ordinary things. So there is no millisecond where there isn't something wondrous happening. There's no downtime. In Vatsalya Rasa, Yashoda's sentiment is couched in such a way that she feels that Krishna is my son, but she also has some doubt of this. Oh, it's right here. Krishna feels Krishna is my son, but some say he is not my real son. They say he's the son of Vasudeva. How is this possible that he could be Vasudeva's son? Such a beautiful, charming boy is not mine. This sort of mentality increases her affection manifold toward Krishna, Gopal, her child. If I lose him, how shall I stand? So I must serve him with more affection. I may not always have the chance. They are saying so. This idea increases her affection, and as a reaction, the satisfaction, the bliss, the ecstasy she feels is also of that order. So we're thinking separation, no! Because separation is so wretched in this world. It's so miserable. Even in this world they say absence makes the heart grow fonder. But that is a very mundane thing. But Krishna is explaining in the end of this volume that we're reading, of Brihad Bhagavatamrita, he's telling the queens of Dwarka, the separation that the inhabitants of Vrindavan feel from me is enhancing their transcendental satisfaction to a point which is not conceivable by you. Because you're thinking he's mine. They're thinking he's not mine. This is a quality of transcendental life and rasa that we can't really conceive of. But this is the nature of transcendental love in its highest atmosphere and expression. Because we don't know what devotion is. These things are mysterious to us. But this increases devotion. And devotion is the essence of sweetness. Devotion is the nectar. In this world we do something to get something, but devotion is the nectar. It is real. Devotion is hardly even found in the Veda. It's not, it's covered with many, many things. Similarly, the circle of Krishna's friends, in the circle of Krishna's friends, they think, oh, some say Gopal is Narayan. He's not really one amongst our friends, so we may lose him. There's a chance of losing his company. And how could we live then? When we have this apprehension that we may lose Krishna, then we will not linger in our position for a long time. We will increase our affection more. This is the key to the Parakīya conception. But it's not that nasty desperation of mundane, the fear of loss in the mundane world. We mustn't compare it to that. This is an increase in devotion. It is just the natural outcome of these feelings. And this is positive, progressive immortality. When we have this apprehension that we may lose Krishna, then we will not linger in our position for a long time. We will increase our affection more. This is the key to Parakīya conception. In Madhura Rasa, it has the greatest magnitude and quality. Krishna is not the gopi's own lawful husband. Still it is said, Patam Patinam Paramam Parastad. Krishna is the husband, the master of the master of all. So I'm going to mark this here. In Madhura Rasa, we'll just continue to read here tomorrow on Krishna's appearance day. Yeah, please. Give me greed. Make me nuts, greedy. People become insane from greed. And in this world, the insanity of loss, the lamentation of loss, if one will absorb himself in that type of lamentation and not see the Lord's hand in the things of our life, that type of madness is very serious. It is a complete darkness. We must never go into that darkness. That is why lolium destroys devotion. That type of lolium, the opposite, the shadow reflection of reality. It is a very hellish thing. So we will not become attached to anything in this world or anyone in this world outside of the service of Krishna. Then everything will be positive and uplifting in the mood of surrender. Jai Shri Śrī Vṛndāvan ki Jai. Srila Rupa Goswami ki Jai. Thanks for Srila Bhakti Rakha Sri Radha Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Garuda Dev ki Jai. Any questions? Any questions from the kitchen? Hari Hare Nama Krishna Yadavaya Nama. Hare Nama Krishna Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshvaya Namaha. Gopal Govinda Ram Śrīmatī Radhika Shri Guru Gaurachandra Ju Ki Jai. Jai Shri Giraj Govardhan Ju Ki Jai. Jai Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajaka Astateras of the Śrīman Srila Bhakti Rakha Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajaka Astateras of the Śrīman Srila Bhakti Rakha Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Nuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswati Acharya Vrinda Ki Jai. Sannyasi Vrinda Ki Jai. Nam Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Sad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Saparshad Śrīman Mahāprabhu Ki Jai. Saparshad Shri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyamakund Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Jai Vṛndāvan Dhām Ki Jai. Mathura Dhām Ki Jai. Navadvip Dhām Ki Jai. Jagannath Puri Dhām Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Jamuna Mai Ki Jai. Śrīmatī Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Śrī Chaitanya Saraswati Mat Ki Jai. Tadiya Saka Mat Ki Jai. Śrī Chaitanya Saraswati Mission Ki Jai. Kol Kartal Ki Jai. Hari Nam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtan Ki Jai. Samaveda Vaishnava Mandala Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Janmastami Adivas Mahamotsav Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari Bo. All the divine servitors of the Lord Ki Jai.
Jai Śrīmatī Śrī Lekha Didi Ki Jai. Jai Vima Krishna Prabhu Ki Jai. Jai Shanta Didi Ki Jai. Jai Divya Shakti Didi Ki Jai. Jai Shama Malini Didi Ki Jai. Jai Lavanya Didi Ki Jai. Namaskar Kiyo Ki Jai.
Haribo.
Thank you for tuning in this morning, dear devotees. Have a glorious day. Haribo.